Elden Ring's castles feature some of the game's most detailed environments. Their varied layouts and strategic locations are inspired by medieval history, adding a layer of subtle realism to the world. In this video, we'll examine the game's main castles in detail. To make things a little more interesting, they'll be ranked from least to most defensible, based on these criteria. This derelict castle was the seat of House Marae for generations, until it was conquered by Elmer of the Briar. It is located within a cleft that separates Altus from Mount Gelmir, making it vulnerable from above. The estate likely used to sit at a higher elevation, before a shift in the earth caused it to sink into a toxic swamp. As a minor noble house, the Marae probably didn't command many troops and vessels. Thus, the lower levels of the castle were likely inhabited by commoners, as well as members of the Golden Order's clergy. Today, those courtyards are submerged in stagnant pools of poison, leaving only hints of their past. Unlike the lower parts of the castle, the Castellan's keep remains mostly intact. This is where the nobles of House Marae and their knights lived. The previous owner of the castle was Mali Marae, who swore allegiance to Millennia. Because of this, the feast hall was decorated in her honor, and a contingent of clean-rot knights joined the castle garrison. At some point, though, Elmer of the Briar took control of the castle, throwing Lord Marae out to rot outside the walls. In the present day, the shaded castle likely wouldn't fare well in a siege, earning it a spot at the bottom of our list. Castle Ensis is located within the realm of Shadow. The House of Caria's influence is conveyed through the castle's architecture, which is an interesting clue to speculate on. It could mean that the castle was built relatively recently for Relana's troops, or that the Carians had a pre-existing outpost in Hornsent lands prior to Marika's ascension. The castle sits on a natural choke point, connecting the gravesite plain to Shadow Altus, an ideal position for an outpost, allowing its owner to project strength over the region. The castle also stands over a moat, which provides a tactical advantage. Ensis's north side is poorly protected, suggesting it was built as an outpost for the Shadow Keep. This fortress lies in the frigid mountaintops at the northernmost tip of the lands between. Here, an eclipse was witnessed long ago, an awe-inspiring phenomenon believed to have kept death at bay. The castle's main feature is the Church of the Eclipse built at its center. Within it, worshippers prayed in vain for a new eclipse to occur, one that would grant life to the soulless demigods. Castle Sol was also a military stronghold, held by a warband of banished knights. A general named Niall holds the fortress to this day, commanding his men's long-dead spirits in battle. Castle Sol is decently fortified relative to its size, its layout providing a distinct advantage to defenders. Still, the cliff overlooking it could be a considerable weakness in a siege scenario. Castle Morne is perched atop a rock formation at the southern tip of the lands between. We know of several battles that occurred here, yet the castle walls remain well preserved for the most part. Despite the fortress's relatively small size, its height provides significant tactical value, which could explain why it's been so hotly contested over the ages. The sea can be accessed from the south side of the castle. A small harbour could have been located here long ago, when sea levels were higher. Overall, Castle Morne is a remarkable fortress, its only weakness being a lack of space to host a large garrison. This fortified estate belongs to the Carian royals. It is partially built upon a steep hill, providing the advantage of verticality. From up high, enemies can be spotted long before they reach the walls, allowing defenders to rain magic and projectiles upon incoming forces. Most of the castle grounds are out in the open air, alluding to the House of Caria's connection to the moon and stars. The castle culminates in the royal moon-gazing grounds, where Carian nobles practiced astronomy by peering at the night sky reflection. Rani and her vassals occupy the towers located right outside the castle. The presence of ruins suggests this area was inhabited in the past, perhaps by a court of scholars and mages. Judging from the manor's compact layout and high vegetation, it likely served as a private estate rather than a densely populated castle. The Redmane clan's stronghold is located in Caelid's southern peninsula. It is connected to the mainland via a narrow bridge, acting as a deadly choke point. Due to its distance from the Battle of Ionia, it was left intact by the Shattering War. Now it is held by Castellan Geron, who organizes the Radan festival every year. A moon dial can be found here, hinting at Radan's lineage. The castle's layout is fairly simple, though it lacks a proper keep. This alludes to the idea that Radan was close to his troops and spent most of his time on the field rather than ruling from a throne room. The Academy of Raya Lucaria sits on a tall rock formation, towering over Leonia. Its impressive elevation and singular entrance point make it highly defensible. The Academy grounds are mostly comprised of buildings dedicated to scholarship, as would be expected. The Grand Library, situated atop the structure, effectively acts as a castle keep. This is where Renala was imprisoned in the aftermath of the Liurnian Civil War. A gateway can be found on a balcony in the upper levels. Perhaps it was built as a means of escape in case of an aerial assault or a prolonged siege. The presumed capital city of the Horn Scent lies in the realm of shadow. This is the same location seen in the DLC story trailer depicting Messmer's crusade. This fortress is divided in two halves, the settlement known as Belurat and the spiral tower of Enir-Illim. Together, they form one of the tallest structures in Elden Ring. Today, most of Belurat is devastated, its long-abandoned streets haunted by ghosts. Even in ruins, though, the city's layout evokes a prosperous past. Enir-Illim, on the other hand, is very well preserved, seemingly frozen in time in the aftermath of Marika's ascension. This spiraling structure was meant to act as a conduit to the gods. As such, it was clearly considered a holy place to the Hornsent, who garrisoned their fiercest warriors to defend it. The Gate of Divinity provides a high strategic value to Enir-Illim, which explains why Marika went to such lengths to obfuscate it. Stormveil is one of the most impressive castles in Elden Ring, though it's clearly seen better days. Its concentric walls are heavily damaged, likely from siege weapons or ship cannons. It also houses one of Godwyn's cadaver growths in the lower levels, likely presenting an ongoing threat to the castle's foundations. In spite of these issues, Stormveil remains a formidable fortress, large enough to host a small army. Various factions and characters occupied this castle over the ages, including Godfrey, first Elden Lord. The Volcano Manor is a highly defensible stronghold, perched atop Mount Gelmir. During the Shattering Wars, it was besieged by Leyndell's army, a battle which resulted in a bloody stalemate. Within its walls, a penitentiary town is partially buried in an unending flow of lava. The premises are guarded by man-serpents, evidently loyal to Rykard. In all likelihood, the manor was built at a time when Gelmir's volcano was still dormant. Its eruption might have been caused by an earthquake triggered by the shattering of the Elden Ring. Deep beneath the manor, there is a large cave where the god-devouring serpent has made its lair. Today, the Volcano Manor is a dangerous place in more ways than one, and an almost impregnable fortress. The fortress known as Elphael acts as a brace for the Halig tree, supporting the base of its trunk. Based on the mysterious reliefs depicted on its inner walls, it is often speculated to predate the age of Marika and the demigods. In more recent times, the structure became the stronghold of the twin prodigies, Malenia and Miquella. In this remote location, they managed to amass a substantial army, making the Halig tree a force to be reckoned with during the later stages of the Shattering Wars. As the Halig tree grew, its roots expanded within Elphael's structure. Twisting branches burrowed through inner walkways and chambers, fully embedding the living tree within the ancient fortress. The Shadowkeep is a massive castle located near the Shadow Tree. It spans across multiple districts, each of them rich in details to interpret. The church district was dedicated to the worship of Marika and the Erd Tree. When Messmer's men realized their queen had forsaken them, the church was no longer needed. Thus, the district was flooded, perhaps out of anger or to repurpose it into a defensive measure. The tallest tower in the keep is the specimen storehouse, dedicated to research and preservation. Here, countless historical relics can be found about the Horn Scent, as well as the ancient Rao civilization. The main district features a budding minor Erd tree, as well as living quarters for the castle garrison. The Shadowkeep is connected to several more areas, enabling Messmer and his army to fully control the region. The royal capital sits at the foot of the Erd tree. This vast city is remarkably well preserved. Even now, long after the shattering, it still conveys a sense of majestic grandeur. It is enclosed by a set of massive ramparts, with the city proper contained within the innermost wall. This empty space was probably occupied by the eternal city of Noclateo, before the Nox were banished underground. Leyndell's glorious past is symbolized by various monuments, such as the fortified manor and the Colosseum. This splendor is, however, contrasted by the subterranean shunning grounds, where all that was inconvenient to the Golden Order ended up. The upper level of the city was likely reserved for nobles and the demigod family. This area also contains the Erd Tree Sanctuary, the religious seat of the Golden Order. The city has a long history of sieges, all of them repelled by the Golden Order. The petrified remains of the ancient dragon grandsacks stand as a monument to the city's resilience and a symbol of the Erd Tree's victory over the prehistoric order. If you enjoy my content, be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.